Greetings, my algebra Padawans. Today, with this video, you're going to be able to factor trinomials using a grouping method. And I think you'll find this useful for those trinomials that don't fit into our perfect square trinomial trick bag. Once again, as always, we've got our chart. And you know this by now, if we have two or more terms, we can use the greatest common factor method. Or if we have two terms and it meets conditions, we can use the difference of squares method, a little time saver there. And then anything with three terms is trinomial, and we will go over the grouping method today. You've already seen the video on factoring perfect square trinomials and the little tricks that we can use for those types of conditions. Now we've got y squared, y plus 2 times y plus 4. And we're going to put this in a box and use our FOIL. So the first terms yield y squared. The outer terms yield a plus 4. The inner terms yield a plus 2. The outer terms yield plus 4y. The inner terms yield plus 2y. And of course, those last terms, the product is 8. Once we combine like terms, we have y squared plus 6y plus 8. Now what you're going to learn how to do is start at the end with the y squared plus 6y plus 8 and then finish with your factored form, y plus 2 times y plus 4. So we're going to factor y squared plus 6y plus 8 using a factoring chart. Do we have a greatest common factor? No, we don't. Not in this scenario. Is it a difference of squares problem? Duh. No way. There's three terms plus they're all pluses. Now we'll learn trinomials. Here's the information you need to put in your table in order to be able to factor a trinomial. First, you want to have the product of the first and last coefficients. And then you want to have the middle coefficient. So what we're going to try to do is find two factors in the first column that add up to the middle term that we've put in the second column. You'll see it over the next few slides, so it may not make much sense now, but hopefully by the time we go through a few problems together, it'll make perfect sense. Okay, so we're going to factor x squared plus 6y plus 8. And the y and the 8, those are our m in the mama table, and the 6y, or the 6, is our a in the mama table. So what are we going to do with this table? Well, we're going to multiply in the first column, and we're going to multiply to get a product of the first and last coefficient, and then we're going to add in the next column numbers that will total our middle coefficient, which was 6. So here's what you've got to do now. You've got to multiply, find the numbers that you can multiply that will give you plus 8, but when added together will give you plus 6. Now, if you can't figure it out right away, that's okay. We're going to write down combinations and test it. It's very direct. So one combination that we can multiply and get 8 is 1 times 8. We can also multiply -1 times -8 and get 8. We can multiply 2 and 4 and get 8. Or we could multiply -2, -4 and get 8. I think that pretty much exhausts it with our whole numbers. Now, what we have to do now is add these together and determine which one has a sum of 6. 9, no. What do you think the next one is? Oh yeah, -9. And then here we go. Yes, that's it. 2 plus 4 is 6. So that's our middle term. All right, we've got it. We know which numbers now we're going to use, and we're going to use them in the very next step. So we've got 2 plus 4 is equaling 6, and 2 times 4 equals 8. So what we're going to do is replace the 6y with our 2 and our 4. And we're going to have y squared plus 2y plus 4 times 2y plus 8. And note, if you add 2y to 4y, you get 6y. So we're just re-expressing the 6y. Now we're going to group the first two terms and the last two terms. And here's what we get. Y squared plus 2y, 4y plus 8y. Now, what we have to do now is find the GCF of each group and factor it out. Can you see the greatest common factor in the first set of terms? What about the second set of terms? A y and a plus 4. I hope that's what you found. When we factor out of the first term, we get y times y plus 2, and in the second term we get 4 times y plus 2. And look at that. The parentheses have the same things inside. It's almost like mathematical magic. Now, we're going to pull those factored GCFs and create their own little grouping. Y plus 4. Notice the plus in front of the 4? Y plus 4. Now, if we multiply that times y plus 2, we're going to get our answer. Now, you can go through this if you want and verify that you get the same answer both ways. But I think for now, if you can follow the steps as we work through the problems and trust yourself to just follow the steps. Try this one on your own, and then we'll come back and after you hit play and try a couple together. Okay, I hope you chose answer 1. When you factor this out using the method that we just looked at, you should get x plus 2 times x plus 1. If you didn't, look back over those notes again real quick and then try it one more time, and then let's go on through the rest of the video and see if you can get it after a couple of more slides.